Hi, you guys. Okay, so this is the first of many videos where I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of like the waist bead making process and how you can make your own waist beads. And I'm also hoping to save you a lot of headache in the process of making your waist beads by showing you some of the things that I use to make mine. Hopefully you won't have to go through all the many different types of needles, all the different types of threads, all the different types of beads and all this stuff that I had to go through if you just watch this series of videos. And then you will just know what to do when you get to the store and you'll know what to get. So the first thing, this first video is going to be about needles and thread, which is very important when you're making waist beads. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I talked about how when I first started making waist beads, I was using sewing thread, which was a big mistake. But I was also using sewing needles. Like so much so that I bought this whole pack. And I have not used this ever since I figured out the right needle. Most of you know some of my backstory. I learned how to make waist beads from this class that this woman does. It's called Waist Beads and Libations. When I was there, she didn't really give us specifics on what kind of needles there were, like that she was using, but I noticed that they were different than the sewing needles that I was trying to use on my own when I was making waist beads at home. So I did a little searching around and ended up finding them. But these are regular sewing needles. They are assorted needles for like your sewing machine. These are a no-go. Like, I would not suggest using these to make waist beads. One, because like there are so many different sizes of the head of the needle, and sometimes those don't fit through the bead. Number two, they're short as fuck. So they're short, and that's another reason why I wouldn't suggest it, because you'll be like threading. It'll take you forever. So I would not suggest these. Do not recommend at all the ghetto. Don't do it. Don't do it. So another type of needle, the type of needle that I learned to use that is a good one. This is a beading needle. Voila, there's a such thing as beading needles. This is the beading needle. As you can see, it's long, and fun fact, it's a wide eye. So this is a wide eye beading needle. So you can open it up. And I'll just take some thread here. You can open it up. You can put your thread through. And boom. It closes. It holds your thread. It's really, really simple. And then you just, if you're not using a spinner and you're like making patterns, these are the perfect type of needles to use for that. And you just pick up your beads and pick them up and pick them up. I'm doing like this motion, you can't see, but pick them up, pick them up, pick them up. And because the needle is long and it's like similar and like closely related to the thread down here at the bottom, it's just like you can have a long ass strand of just beads on the needle. So it won't take that long, and it will save you a lot of headache. Like, I swear, when I figured out what type of needle this was, it saved me so much freaking time when I was making my strands. So this is, again, it is called a beading needle. It is a wide eye beading needle. And it's very like pliable. So it kind of feels almost like wire. But this is what it is right here. Another type of needle that you can use if you're using a bead spinner is a curved needle. So again, this is very similar to the beading needle. It is also wide-eyed. I'm trying to open it for you. Okay, it's also wide-eyed. It's just curved. So mine's a little beat up because I've been in here working. Okay, but it's curved. So when you're using it in your spinner, so this is one of my spinner containers. This is that Emerald City mix here. And like when your spinner's just going, it just catches the beads on the curve. So it catches them on the curve. Oh, look, I got one. And it just goes straight down the needle and onto your thread. And it's pretty, it's kind of easy to use. I'm not gonna say it's super easy in the beginning, because in the beginning for me, the hardest part was figuring out how to hold this needle, because I had been so used to holding my straight needle and having my own control, kind of like holding a pencil. But this one is not so much like holding a pencil. It's kind of, it's a little different. You have to hold it a little different to have that control when you're using your bead spinner. But that's the bead spinner needle. And usually if you buy a bead spinner, like I bought this one right here, it is called Bead Spinner. It's the Darice bead spinner, D-A-R-I-C-E. It costs about $30 at Michael's. That's where I got this one from, but you can probably find them on like Amazon for a little cheaper. So that's the one I have, and it comes with, I think it came with like 2 needles. I broke one, but it comes with like 2 needles. So if you get a bead spinner, that's easy. So recently I found out about another type of bead spinner needle. This one is very similar to the regular needle, the sewing machine needle. It's curved, but it's got that tiny eye down there. So this one is not wide eye. It's got a very small eye down there, and you can't really get like layers of thread through this needle because the eye is so small. So actually I ordered this one, but I haven't used it, and I'm probably not going to use it because it's not what I expected it to be. Like when I read on the website that it was a bead spinner needle, I expected the same type of needle that came with my bead spinner, but it's not. And so I'm probably not going to use this one, but it's out there. It's out there. So those are the type of needles that I would recommend. Again, beading needle, wide eye, wide eye, highly recommend. 5 stars, highly recommend. Bead spinner needle that comes with the bead spinner, highly recommend. This one is also wide eye, 5 stars. Okay, into the threads. So most of you know, if you see me on Instagram, you know I brag about kite string. So this is kite string. I love kite string. It is durable, it is strong, it is thick, but it is also slim at the same time. So it can pretty much thread through any bead. You can't double it. Like if you double your threads through to make it stronger, you can't double it through like the little beads. So like the size 11 beads, you can't double this through. You probably could double this through a size 8 bead, and you can definitely double it through a size 6 bead with the bigger beads. So you can definitely double it through there. I would always recommend kite string to anybody trying to find string for their beads. This I always have to order off of Amazon. I can never find this in the store. And it costs about, I think it costs maybe $10, and you get 2 of them. So that's good. And it's like, I want to say like 250 yards each. It's a lot of string. The only thing about kite string is I haven't had too many complaints of people breaking the kite string with their strands, but it does fray. This one hasn't frayed too much, and I'm not going to mess it up, but it does fray at the ends a little bit. So I did have one person, she had been wearing her strand for a while, and it ended up coming apart because the string ended up fraying. So whenever I use kite string, I always try to make sure to burn it at the ends before or after I add on a clasp, or if I tie it on you, I gotta burn it. And so that is what I do for kite string if a strand has kite string. I actually haven't used kite string in a while because I found a new thread that I really like, and I'm gonna show it to you in a minute. This is my other thread. So this is a thread my mom got me that she uses also. It is made of cotton and like, I think like some type of polyester. It's coarse. So like I love to use this string for tie-on strands. but I can only use it, I can't use it for like my skinny mini strands because it's too thick. Like it won't even go through as a single through my skinny minis. So I can use it for, I can go through once with this one through the size 8 beads, and I can double it through the size 6 beads. But the skinny minis I can't because they're size 11s and they're really small. But I love this string. Like I love to tie this one on. I haven't had anybody break this one yet either. If I think about it, I haven't. This is a really good string. You can get this one from Walmart. I don't know what it's called though. I'll leave it in the comments if I find out later. This is a good one. And lastly, this is my new favorite thread. This thread is so skinny. It's a nylon thread. I got it off of Fire Mountain Gems. That's where I order most of my beads, most of my Sheck beads. If you see me do a strand with Chinese beads, I probably pick the beads up from Michael's or Hobby Lobby. But the Sheck beads usually always come from Fire Mountain. It's a wholesale website, and you can order your beads and your string, and I wouldn't order the needles from there because that's where I got this needle from that I'm not ever going to use. But your beads, your thread, your closures, you can order all kind of stuff from there. They have it's a crafting website, so you can order pretty much anything. But yeah, so this is like this nylon thread, and it's so thin. I can go through my skinny minis with this one. I can double this one through my skinny minis. So I can quadruple it through the size 8 beads, and I can probably just keep going through the size 6 beads because they're bigger. I like this one a lot. It's really strong. It doesn't look strong, but it is so strong. Like me and my mom were standing here trying to break this string, and it ended up hurting our hands, just like right now. So highly recommend. It is a nylon thread. It is on Fire Mountain, and I can't remember how much this one cost. It wasn't that expensive though, honestly. All of the stuff that I'm showing here on y'all is not expensive at all. I'm not cheap, but I am frugal. So I'm not about to be wasting a whole lot of money on high-end things like that, because you can find things like that for a decent price and not have to break your own bank. Because if I have to start finding things that are super expensive or buying things that are super expensive, then that means I have to go up on my price. And I try to keep things like pretty affordable for people, but still allow myself to be able to get a profit for my time and for my effort that I put in. So those are the needle and threads. And in the next video, I will talk about beads. I will talk about Sheck beads and Chinese beads, and the difference and which ones I like the best. But most people know which ones I like the best. All right, and that's all I think I have for today. If you have any questions or comments, or if you have any topics you would like me to discuss about waist beads, regarding waist beads or jewelry making, leave it in the comments and I'll see if I can get to it. Because I do also make jewelry, but I mostly make jewelry in like the winter months when people aren't buying waist beads. Summer is all about waist beads. So that's all I have. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope to see you on the next video.